Swain, touchdown.
It's time. It's time. It's Swain Event time.
My man.
It is time for the Swain Event, fueled by Dead End Barbecue. This is real sports talk for the real sports fan. Talk to him, Swain.
Get into his house and a Ric Flair.
You are having a fabulous start to your Tuesday, March the 24th. It is the best day of the week. It's fun when Tennessee wins. It's fun when Tennessee wins on a high level. Ben McKee, GoVols 247, coffee in hand. I'm Jason Swain, live from the Low T Center Studio. Also, coffee in hand. Cheers, my man Ben McKee. Good morning, sir.
Good morning. How are you?
I do. I'm running on fumes over here. I'm sure you could imagine.
Right there with you.
But I got my coffee. I'm good to go.
I've got my coffee, and I'm good to go as well. God is good. We woke up this morning. There was a beautiful sunrise as I got to drive my kids to daycare this morning. So God is good, and I have absolutely nothing to complain about.
All the time.
All the time.
All the time. So how does it feel to be a TV star, Ben McKee? How does it feel?
It feels great. You know, I feel the great Jason Swain and Chris Lowe prepared me for this moment. Just being around Hollywood so often.
Yeah, we're proud of you.
Prepared me for Hollywood. In all honesty, I just feel bad for America that they had to look at my face for several moments Sunday evening. I hope all the televisions are still working. I hope the screens are not cracked. And I apologize that you had to see not only my face, but my bald head for an extended period of time during that basketball game on Sunday as they reviewed what was a technical foul on Virginia.
Yeah, I had to do a hard reset on my TV. Had a little glitch, but after that it was good to go.
That wasn't even the cool moment that TV did not catch was when Nate Ament blocked his shot and had a little something to say.
What did he say, Ben?
I did not read his lips, but I believe he said, "Get that out of here."
What kind of reporter are you? I mean, your post Firestorm content that got everybody in a frenzy with Tristan Key's video, and you're sitting right there, right next to him, front row, and you can't even give us a good report on what Nate Ament said. I mean, what's the point of going up there if you can't give us good perspective?
You know, you make a great point. And shout out to my coworker, Patrick Brown, for one-upping me with the Twitter videos last week, upsetting the offensive line community with his David Sanders Jr. clip. Shout out to Patrick for helping me out there and bailing me out. But when Nate had that moment and was walking towards the Tennessee family section, and he said post-game that his brother told him that he was tired of Nate being so stoic. He wanted Nate to show emotion. And the funny comment was Felix. I asked Felix about Nate showing that much emotion. He was like, "Yeah, I'm glad he did it, so other teams don't think that he's sweet." I thought that was a funny comment from Felix there. But Nate said that he let some emotions out there, which we don't typically see because his brother told him that he was tired of him looking stoic and being stoic on the floor and that he needed to play with more of an edge. So Nate was walking, that was right in front of the Tennessee family section, and he was walking towards his brother, and he said post-game that he was looking at his brother, but in the moment, it looked like he was staring right at me because he was literally walking towards me, and it looked like he was like staring at me as he was yelling, and that was a pretty cool moment. Sitting courtside is pretty cool, especially in the NCAA tournament, and when the emotions get going and that happens right in front of you. That was cool. That was the better moment, but unfortunately for America, during the technical foul with J.P. Estrella and the Virginia player, y'all had to look at me for an extended period of time.
Yeah, dude is not smart. because that was his
No.
second technical foul in 2 games. Like he doesn't have the self-control and the mental discipline to handle himself. Like he just does it. So remember Ben McKee heading into the first 4 game between Miami of Ohio and SMU. I said I wanted to see Miami of Ohio. And the reason why I wanted to see Miami of Ohio is I wanted to see the nation, America, back Miami of Ohio, have them as their Cinderella, love up on them, have them as America's team. And I wanted to see what it brought out in us. And early in the season, we necessarily didn't pass those tests, but I wanted to see if we learned from those tests that we came up short in. And that's what the regular season is about, right? It's about winning every game, but it's about learning those lessons that can help you in the postseason. Football, there's not a lot of margin of error because you can find yourself not even in the college football playoff. There's more now than was before, but there's less margin of error. Basketball, you can lose 5, 6, 7 games. Tennessee has lost 11 and still learn the lessons necessary to be able to make a run in the NCAA tournament. So I wanted to see, okay, what did we learn from 2 times versus Kentucky? What did we learn from, any other situation where maybe we lost a game in prior years and we need to kind of find our manhood and come up with a win? I wanted to see what we were made of. And, damn, I knew we would win. And we had Foxball call up in here last week. He was so scary. I had to remind Foxball, hold on now. Tennessee is a top 22 defense. Tennessee is a top 15 defense. Tennessee top 25 at defending the 3. I thought we would defend the 3 better. I didn't think we would make him airball 6 times, Ben McKee. We had him in
7.
handcuff. It was 7?
I counted 7.
I counted 6. I can't count.
There's a debate. No, it may not be you. There is a debate on the 7th one. The 7th one happened on the other side of the floor that I was sitting in. From my vantage point, it looked like an air ball, but my buddy Ryan Shumpert, who was sitting on that end of the floor, says he thinks that it might have grazed the rim. So the 7 is up in the air. Until further ruling, it's 7 in my book. But, man, Tennessee, I really think them being – they were the lower seed against Virginia, obviously the higher seed against Miami, Ohio. But the fact that everybody in America wanted Miami, Ohio to win, I think it absolutely motivated Tennessee. And I asked the guys in the locker room about it, and nobody would really give any credence to it. In fact, I think I shared this on Thursday. I can't remember. Did they play Thursday or Friday? They played Friday.
I thought they played.
They played Friday and Sunday. So
Friday and Sunday.
I did not share this on the show because I had not talked to the locker room at this point. But I guess I talked about it on our Go Vols 24/7 podcast. But I asked Bishop Boswell about Miami, Ohio, and them being a Cinderella and everybody wanting them to win. And he quickly corrected me and said, no, I would not call them a Cinderella because of what they did in the regular season, going undefeated. Their seed as an 11 seed, that's not really a Cinderella. Cinderellas are typically lower seeded than that. But in terms of brand name, yes, they had a phenomenal season. I don't. Yes, the strength of schedule was weak, but I don't care. Going undefeated in basketball, regardless of who you play, is impressive at the end of the day. And that was kind of Bishop's point. So my point is that Tennessee didn't really take the bait. Not that I was trying to bait them, of course, but just curious to see if that was a motivating factor for them in this game. And nobody really said anything but J.P. Estrella, who acknowledged that they realized that a lot of people wanted Miami, Ohio to win and make a run. So I absolutely do believe that Tennessee was motivated by that. And was it perfect this weekend? No, because of some of the mistakes that they made late in the game against Virginia, some inexcusable turnovers that they're lucky did not cost them their season. They were at least able to flip it around and get it done defensively against a good Virginia offense. But and as a quick side tangent, I do think that we forget as we talk about college sports and cover college athletes, that they're college kids and they're not going to play perfect every time out. Like, there are going to be mistakes involved in college games because they are young men, young women. Like, they're amateurs. There's going to be mistakes. They're not supposed to play perfect. That's for the professionals. So it's not going to be perfect. But outside of those couple of frustrating turnovers late against Virginia, I feel like Tennessee played some of its best basketball of the season this weekend and played it at the right time. I was very, very impressed with their overall game. Jacoby Gillespie's playing as well as anybody in the country right now. Boy, has he developed into one heck of a point guard under Rick Barnes. There's just so much to feel good about this team right now. We were wondering if, hey, would it ever click for them? And Rick Barnes, of course, he's going to take the glass half full approach of saying, hey, at least we haven't clicked yet, played to our full potential yet. And I think they played dang near close to their full potential this weekend. It was good to see.
I want to highlight the biggest points from the Virginia win. The biggest points. Obviously, Jacoby Gillespie has been Tennessee's MVP, and he was good. 21 points. I mean, he's the guy, right? I don't know why he's not shooting free throws and technical fouls, but anyways, 6 out of 6 on the free throw line, 60% from three. Like, Jacoby Gillespie is him for Tennessee in the last 2 games. But why did you beat Virginia on top of what Gillespie did? Well, let's start defensively. Let's start with Felix at Par, who, entering this game, Virginia led the country in block shots. Well, it was Tennessee that blocked more shots than Virginia. It was also Felix at Par who was able to defend on the perimeter. His athleticism, his versatility is a big reason why Tennessee's defense in the first 2 games has given the opponents trouble. Yesterday on Josh and Swain, we had Tennessee assistant coach Greg Polinsky on, and he couldn't give Felix enough praise by his efforts and how he played defensively, his versatility. That's number one, on top of Jacoby Gillespie's performance. Number 2, and this is no order of importance because all of it was good and all of it was why you were able to beat Virginia. A good team, the 3rd seed in the region. I didn't think Tennessee would beat Virginia based on how we played later in the season. But I'm not surprised we did beat Virginia. Here's the 3rd thing, and again, it's no order of importance. You have center on the court. You have power forward. You have small forward. You have point guard. What am I missing? What position am I missing, Ben McKee?
Shooting guard?
Shooting guard. I don't know about you, but if you play the shooting guard position, you should be able to make shots and shoot the ball into the basket. That's what Bishop Boswell did. He is the key to cranking this engine up for this basketball team to another level. 35 minutes. He did not turn the basketball over, which I get nervous sometimes when he's dribbling the ball because he doesn't make good decisions earlier in the season and later in the season, but he was great. He was great for Tennessee against Virginia. Listen, I was critical of the position after we lost to Vanderbilt, and that's me not saying anything for a whole entire season on Twitter, but he was fabulous against Virginia. 9 assists. He made 4 threes. He shot 9. You talking about the confidence. My goodness. He shot 9 3-pointers, more than anyone else. 4 more than Gillespie, but he made 4 of them. If he's making shots, he's defending, and he's taking care of the basketball, with Gillespie playing the way he's playing and Felix playing the way he's playing defensively, Estrella got into some foul trouble. This team can do some damage. Now, here's the thing, Ben, and we'll get into Iowa State. We gotta get to the phones. There may be without their best player, and Tennessee is playing with their best player not 100%. And Tennessee may need more from Nate Ament, even though he's hurt, to be able to beat Iowa State. But we'll get to that in a second, man. Your thoughts on the three biggest highlights from the win versus Virginia, and then we'll get to the phones.
No, I totally agree with everything that you said. I don't have much to add. You were rightfully critical, and I echoed those sentiments in my work that Tennessee needed more from its off-ball guards if it was going to make a run. And Bishop Boswell was the difference on Sunday night. I completely agree that he opens up this team even more when you add that to what Felix Okpara is doing defensively, what Jacoby Gillespie is doing at point guard. And then obviously there's still a lot more that Nate can give you. It's just I really think he's battling this ankle injury. It's clear as day if you watch. It's just a real problem, which is what Rick Barnes called it over the weekend when he was asked for the millionth time about it. It's a high ankle sprain, and you know better than anybody, Swain, that those do not recover quickly. And it's going to take the season ending for Nate to get healthy again and stay off of it. So it's a real bummer that I think Tennessee's best overall player is having to deal with this when it matters most, because if Tennessee is going to go to the Final Four, Nate has to play well and have a big impact against Iowa State and then against Michigan or Alabama. So that's unfortunate, but kudos to Nate. I thought he still did a good job of battling, especially in the second half, getting to the free throw line, drawing fouls. So if you're a Tennessee fan, you have to adore Nate Ament.
Love him.
You have to. Everything he's giving you all when he doesn't – when a lot of guys would say, hey, I'm probably about to be a lottery pick, about to be a top 10 pick, let me mail it in. Let me just be cool and chill out, maxing, relaxing, all cool on the bench. Like he could have done that, and he's not. He's risking his draft stock by risking further injury, and he wants to win, as he has said multiple times. He wants to win for the university, for the fans, for his teammates, for Rick Barnes. So I think it's very commendable what Nate Ament is doing right now. But yeah, I agree with you. Bishop unlocks this team when he plays. Unlocks his team even more when he plays the way that he did on Sunday evening. It was Jalen Carey or Ethan Berg. I can't remember which one. One of them told me that he's the anchor of this basketball team because of his leadership ability, because of his defensive ability, and then what he's capable of adding on the offensive end. And Jacoby Gillespie agreed with that sentiment as well post-game. And Bishop's been dealing with a hip contusion. No, a hip flexor. Rick Barnes said over the weekend. So maybe we talked going into the weekend, like, hey, Bishop needs to get back to being the guy that he was throughout non-conference play, throughout the first half of SEC play, because that was a really productive player for Tennessee, and it had kind of fallen off there the last couple of weeks and at the SEC tournament, and maybe that's the explanation as to why. Of course, everybody's not 100% this time of the year, but Bishop was awesome against Virginia, and they're really going to need him against Iowa State if they're going to be able to get back to the Elite Eight.
Why'd you say max and relaxing?
Because I was in West Philadelphia, where I was born and raised, and kicking it on the playground where I spent most of my days.
The reason why I'm asking you this because, bro, I had a Fresh Prince moment during the Virginia game. Fresh Prince was my favorite show growing up. Fresh Prince and Martin. I used to watch it. It was appointment television for me.
Fresh Prince is still my favorite show. If it's on television, I will stop and watch it.
Bro, I'm watching the Virginia game, and Jakari White hit 2 3-pointers in the first half. Looked like he was going to be on fire. I'm a big fan of guys with a bald head rocking their headband, right? Headbands usually look better when guys have braids and dreads, but I can get with it. Guys with the bald head rocking the headband. It's not the best look, but hey, I feel you, Jakari. I'm in the same club as you, my man. I was super nervous about containing him after he hit the first 2 threes in the first half. But we had a Fresh Prince moment late in the game. Remember that episode when Will and Carlton's playing basketball and Will's giving them buckets? I mean, buckets. He's showing off to the crowd, to the ladies, and Carlton's getting a little jealous. Carlton's not feeling all this attention that Will's getting. And it came down to the last second shot. They call timeout, they huddle. The coach tells the team, hey, this is what we want. Get Will the ball. Carlton gets it and was like, yo, this is my chance. I'm letting this thing fly. Carlton lets it fly. And they slow-mo it. They show Carlton. They show the ball. They slow-mo it. And the ball doesn't even come close to the rim. He airballs it. Well, Jakari White had that moment at the end of that Virginia game. My man is wide open in the corner. Boswell and Estrella, they fail to switch. They go to the same person. White is wide open. I'm like, oh, my gosh, we're leaving the shooter wide open. And it felt like it was slow motion. I don't know if it was slow motion for you, Ben, when you were sitting there, but it was slow motion for me as I was watching it. And
I thought it was going in.
he shoots an elevated jump shot. So he gets up off the ground, shoots it. I thought I thought he was turning a little weird, but like he held the follow through and everything. And I was like, oh no. And then he airballed it. And I bust out laughing because I was like, yo, that was just like Fresh Prince. And then he came back. And poor guy, listen, I know what it's like to be an athlete, crunch time moment, and you hate not make the play for your team. That's terrible, but it's still funny. And then he comes back with the layup, with the left-handed layup underneath the rim, and misses the goal again. I'm like, yo, he's having a bad day. But that moment, man, reminded me of Fresh Prince, and it was hilarious. All right, 865-250-5503, the Guards of Law hotline. Also, we'll get to the Beatty Chevrolet text box, BeattyChevrolet.com. First, let's hit the hotline. Good morning.
Now, Ben know good and well he got one little fight and his mama got scared. He wound up in Buckhorn. Why we playing this morning?
What's up, my man?
What up? This BZ in Milwaukee. You already know I'm excited this morning.
That's right, man. That's right. Chicago, here we go.
Yeah. Are you coming this way, Swain?
I probably won't be going that way, man.
You're not gonna go see your family?
Yeah,
I got myself. I signed myself up for some duties at home. I don't think I can get out of.
you not wrong, man, because these ticket prices, they making the United Center look like a Beyonce concert going on or something, man. The Blackhawks stink, the Bulls stink, and the prices are always this high. Obviously, it's NCAA tournament, it's Sweet 16, it's Elite 8, so prices aren't going to be cheap, but they're looking crazy right now. But I'm going to do whatever I can to hopefully make it down there.
You can dance on the evenings when you get off work. You can go dance, make some extra money.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Swain, that Fresh Prince Carlton story, you had me rolling in the car yesterday. I was watching the other show when you brought that up.
Hey,
it was the perfect analogy. And it's funny because I wrote down like 3 little bullet points I wanted to rap with you guys with this morning, and Jakari was definitely one of those. I know that we were recruiting him in the portal coming into this season, and I was just sitting here thinking, can you imagine if it was UT on the other end needing that shot, and he shot that air ball like that? What the fan base would be saying right now?
Well, I'll be saying the same thing. Yo, that was like Fresh Prince. Unfortunately, it's for our team.
Yeah, unfortunately. But Sunday was a great day. Great afternoon, great evening. Would have been better if Texas Tech had their best player and at least showed up for the game. But the way Bama was shooting, my goodness.
Yeah.
I don't know, but two quick bullet points because I'm sure the phone line's going to be hopping. One unserious, one serious, but kind of unserious. Ben, actually, I'll do the serious one first. and then I'll hop off after I bring you both up so you guys can discuss it. Regarding Nate, I'm starting to hear some pundits, some local folks down there in Knoxville say that they think Nate should come back.
No. No.
Exactly. I was just going to say, Swain. I know.
Oh my
yeah. I think these people forget that. They either forget. I don't know if it's selfishly want them to come back to UT. That these guys can develop in the NBA while they're getting paid millions. Like, yeah, he can come back and get good NIL money. Yeah, we know Barnes is going to develop him and make him a better player. But when you're a first-round pick, almost, well, we know he was rumored to be a lottery pick coming in, and, who knows where he's at now. But I know he's going first round. There's no way he's coming back. There's no way if it was, these analysts, if it was their child, there's no way they would be asking him to come back. He's not coming back. Love what he's done. Great kid. He's not coming back. And there's no way out. Barnes isn't going to let him come back. So let's just throw that out the window. But like I said, I'll hop off and let you guys chime in on that. And then the unserious question was, Ben, what was the best cheesesteak you had over the weekend, if you did have a cheesesteak? I'll hang up and listen. And if I secure some tickets by Thursday, I'll call in and let you guys know. And Ben, I know you'll be up in Chicago for sure. If I do get those tickets, I'll DM you and see if we can link. Love, fellas. Let's get this done this weekend.
My man DZ, man. Thanks so much for the phone call, man. Always good stuff from you.
Yeah, I'd love to see you, DZ. Just give me a shout. I did have a couple of cheesesteaks that were absolutely delicious. I had
compare.
What's that?
So you have to have a couple so you can compare, right?
Yes. Well, and also I'm in Philly. I don't go to Philly often, so I don't eat cheesesteaks in Knoxville. So while I'm in Philly, if I like a cheesesteak, then I might as well load up on them. I went to two places. The first one that I went to was Del Rossi's, I believe is the name. Very good. Very, very, very good. And then the other one I went to was Uncle Gus's Steaks. It was at this market place. I'm blanking on the name of the marketplace. But it was like what we have in Knoxville with Kearns Hall. And it's like the big building, and it's got just a bunch of restaurants and bakeries and coffee shops inside. Mm-hmm. It was that on steroids. But both of them were good. I wouldn't pick one over the other. They were both absolutely delicious. They were better. The first time I went to Philly a couple of years ago when I went for the Army Navy game. I went to one of the real popular names, like Geno's or whatever, and it was all right. These two were much better. Like I became a huge fan of Philly cheesesteaks because of those two, and they were both equally good. I could not pick one over the other.
DZ said there were pundits in Knoxville saying that Nate needs to come back, and I don't know how you can be paying attention to college basketball and NBA and let that come out of your mouth. Nate Ament is a lottery pick. It's been said all season long that he's a lottery pick. That's top 10. In a deep draft, he's still a lottery pick. There's not enough money to pay him more than what he's going to make as a lottery pick. On top of that, it just takes to pay attention a little bit. On top of that, he signed with Reebok. This whole year, he hasn't really been able to go all in with this endorsement deal because Tennessee is Nike. There's Acuff is Reebok. So once he goes to the league, that opens up another bag for him. He needs to go. You don't turn down being a lottery pick. And he's making himself more money because he's the anti-Peterson at
Yep.
Kansas.
You think Peterson is losing money? I do.
Yeah, he's
I don't think Peterson is going to go number one overall because of everything that's happened.
correct. So Nate Ament's not coming back, nor should he come back. He should leave.
Can I provide some context before we move on to the text box or another phone call?
Please, man.
There was a mock draft. I guess this was the beginning of March 2nd. Feels like yesterday, but at this point it was 22 days ago. But from Sam Vecini heading into the NCAA tournament, his latest mock draft. At the very top, he talks about how NBA teams have made clear through their tanking measures, the top end of this draft class is absurdly good with Darren Peterson, AJ DeBansa, Cameron Boozer, Caleb Wilson. 4 teams are going to walk away from draft night exceptionally happy. Even beyond them, the guard class in the middle of the lottery has stepped up significantly. Louisville's Michael Brown Jr., Arkansas's Darius Acuff Jr., Illinois' Keaton Wagler, Houston's Kingston Flemings have all displayed qualities that could make them franchise guards. Throw in the emergence of Nate Ament, Tennessee, and you have 9 players who teams are very excited about. So Nate Ament is thought very highly of going into this class. And in that mock draft, Vecini has the Grizzlies taking Michael Brown Jr. He has Nate going 9th to the Milwaukee Bucks. I know DZ would be excited about that if that were to happen. Vecini said Ament probably hasn't gotten enough credit yet for turning around a rough start to his season. He's averaging yada, yada, yada. Those numbers were also buoyed by big games against bad teams, like some non-conference games. But over his last 12 games before an injury in Tennessee's game against Alabama, few players have been better in high major conference play. He's getting to the line a ridiculous 9 times per game in that run as teams struggle to deal with his comfort on the ball and his ability to long stride out on his drives to the rim. He's playing like a top 5 pick in SEC play, but he drops to 9th here because the body of work is less consistent over the totality of the season, and because, similar to Wagler at Illinois, teams worry about his strength level for his style of play. He's still quite skinny, and scouts aren't sure how his frame will fill out long term. He added a lot of good weight in the offseason leading into his freshman year, which has allowed him to deal with the rigors of college basketball. However, he doesn't have a ton of athletic explosiveness. His finishing at the rim has been concerning when he doesn't get fouled, and his jumper has been a roller coaster after strong high school samples. Ament feels like a player for whom pre-draft workouts will be critical, but he is regarded as a high-character player with dribble, pass, and shoot capabilities at 6'10", and those are qualities that essentially every NBA team is looking for. And the last piece of context I will provide, I did not intend to read off that long explanation, but I felt like that was good insight from somebody who Sam Vecini covers the draft as well as anybody. Not only does he tell you what this guy does well, he does a great job of explaining what needs to be worked on as well, which you heard me describe there. But Cedric Coward, my big fan of Cedric Coward. He plays for my Memphis Grizzlies. He's a rookie for the Grizzlies. The Grizzlies selected him number 11 overall last season in the first round of the NBA draft. You know how much money he's making this year? I can't hear you talking. I don't know if it's me or
more than what Nate is making this year with NIL.
Double what Nate is making. Nate is making around $3 million. Cedric Coward is making $5.7 million. He'll make $6 next year. He'll make $6.2 his third year, and $8 his fourth year, assuming the Grizzlies pick up his team option, which they will because Cedric Coward is awesome. He has a contract of 4 years, $26 million total, and he was guaranteed when he signed on the dotted line $11.7 million. Tennessee did a great job of ponying up for Rick Barnes and helping get Nate Ament to Knoxville. They can't pony up enough to help Nate come back for a second year. The money is not close.
Yeah, it's not close.
He will double his money, and that's just being the 11th pick. If he plays his way if he has a huge weekend this weekend to lead Tennessee to the Final Four, and then shows well at the combine, and then does well in those pre-draft workouts that Vicini was referencing, he could play himself into a top 5, top 7 pick. The $6 million next year is just the 11th pick overall. If he plays himself up into a top 5, top 7 pick, he's going to be making even more money. Tennessee, no college is coming. I mean, maybe BYU did give DeBanza $7 million, so maybe I shouldn't say no college, but he's not gonna make close to what he would get in the lottery when he comes out. Not if he comes out, but when he comes out.
All right, let's go back to the phones. 865-255-03. Good morning.
What up, fellas? It's Rusty.
What's up, Russ?
Hey, Ben, I just texted you a couple of pictures from the only.
Better phrasing, please.
Whoa!
No.
Back up, Terry. Put it in reverse, Terry.
A couple pictures of screenshots of the Vols on the court with Virginia the other day. A certain moment in the game. The only complaint about the game that I have. It's the second half. The score is 70-68 Tennessee. We have the ball, 2:49 to go in the ball game. We run pick and roll with Okpara picking at the top of the key for Jacoby. We get late in the shot clock. We're under 10 in the shot clock. And they, of course, don't just hedge the ball screen, but they double the ball screen and follow Jacoby almost all the way into Rick's lap over by our bench. And Jacoby has to turn around and swing it back to Okpara, who ends up wide open at the top of the key with a 2-point lead, under 3 to go in the ball game. And you're kind of in a bit of a rushed clock moment now. And Felix looks like when he catches the ball, he just caught a hand grenade without a pin in it. Because the coach, who does a fantastic job with our program, has made him scared when he catches the ball for a wide-open 3.
I don't think he's scared. It's just not an option.
Yeah, because he's proven he can't make 3-pointers already.
You know what I see on this screenshot?
What's the problem? I don't understand what's the problem.
He doesn't even
Rusty,
look. He doesn't even look.
You want Felix to shoot that shot, correct?
But Rusty, you just said he's proven to not make that shot.
Yeah, I'm being sarcastic. I'm making fun of Rick on that. Felix has proven when wide open, he can make that shot. Probably at as high a clip as the big men for a bunch of other teams that will take that shot, especially
I hear
in
you.
late game.
I hear you. I do think Felix is capable of knocking down a 3. I agree with you there. Yeah. I would differ in saying I don't want Felix taking that shot in that moment.
Does everybody know what happens next? Do you know what happens next in the moment?
No, I don't. I know what I see, what I would like to happen next. Can I tell you what I would like to happen next? I see Nate Ament with a small guard on his hip, as they say in the basketball world. There's a mouse in the house on Nate Ament. What I would have liked to see is the ball get to Nate on the elbow or whatever, and let Nate go to work and draw another foul.
Do you know what they're going to do as soon as we pass the ball to Nate right there? DeRuyter is going to leave Okpara and go doubling like they do about 3 possessions later when we end up having to throw the ball to Boswell for a prayer and he catches it and gets hammered and Boswell goes and shoots 2 free throws. They're going to double Nate as soon as the ball goes to him.
Well, that's fine. They were doing that throughout the second half, and Nate was still able to draw fouls off of that.
Right. But in a late clock situation, trying to get that ball to Nate as opposed to the wide open 3 is rough. What does happen here is Jacoby comes back and gets the ball from Felix and dribbles around him with another ball screen, and they trap him, and he falls down and loses the ball and gives it to Virginia for a break, and they get down and get a bucket. Because late clock, panic, and remember in the game against Vanderbilt, we were in Knoxville, the one we lost where we trailed all day and we made the late run. We had turned down Felix or JP shooting the wide open 3 about 10 times during the ball game. And when we were panicked and behind and having to try to come back, we ended up in almost this exact same situation, but it was maybe a minute and a half to go, and JP found himself wide open at the top of the key because they doubled Jacoby on the ball screen, and JP said, I'm letting it rip. We're late in the shot clock. We're going to take this shot that I can make, and he buries it. And if you would have taken that shot 4 other times during the ball game, you probably would have hit 1 or 2 others, and you would have won the ball game. Turning down these shots makes it easier to defend Tennessee. I'm sorry, it does.
Well, it does. There's no doubt about that. I agree with your overall philosophy. Like, I want Tennessee's offense to have a stretch forward that is capable of knocking down those shots. I just think in this particular moment, it's like you don't have the personnel to do so. You do with JP. I do agree with you on JP. I don't want Felix taking that shot in that moment. I think I agree with, again, the philosophy that you're discussing. I just think that's more of an off-season roster construction adjustment that needs to be made.
I guess. I mean, I hear what you're saying, and I know Rick deserves a ton of grace on his philosophies of wishing the 3-point line would go away. I understand where he's coming from, because it's philosophy from, a long time ago, I guess, of hoping for a simpler time, etc.
Well, defensively, it puts more pressure on you with the 3-point shot. It spreads you out. I think that's what Rick was referring to. Like, defensively, it makes it harder for you.
Right. Or it's he wants to play through the post, and
What's wrong with
everybody wanting to kick it out. I mean, the bottom line is,
which is fine if you surround yourself with shooters, but they didn't do a good enough job last offseason of surrounding their front court with shooters to where that's always going to be successful.
Yeah.
And to your point about JP, like, something I want Tennessee to do this offseason, expand JP's game. Allow JP to expand his game. He is a capable 3-point shooter, in my opinion. Allow him to continue to work on this offseason and allow that to be part of your offense next season.
Yeah. Well, hey, I just don't get it with Felix. I mean, he's like 37% right now on the season, and he's only taking about
very, 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 very small sample size.
On,
but I mean,
trying to turn him into a 3-point shooter. He's not. That's not his shot. He won't even take free throw jumpers when they have 2 guys in the post and one flashes to the free throw line. He won't take that. You take it when you're confident that you can make it. He's not taking it because he's not making them enough. Let's not make him shoot threes.
I don't want him shooting a free throw jumper. You know what? I don't really want anybody shooting a free throw jumper.
What?
Except maybe Nate or Gillespie, because I don't like long twos.
That's not long two. It's a free throw jumper.
It's I don't like 7 feet or deeper twos. I don't like them.
I mean,
4 of 11 on the season just is not a big enough sample size for me.
No, it's not. No.
And his
but my point is,
stats he's 0 for 3 in SEC play. Went 0 for 3 in SEC play.
Right, but I was headed somewhere with that. He gets that shot up. DeRuyter has having to rush back to him, right? He pulls the trigger. Maybe he airballs it. Maybe he makes it and we're up 5. Maybe because one of their bigs is at the top of the key and there's a mouse in the house with Nate and JP's rushing from the corner, we get an offensive rebound, which we're really, really good at.
Why were they in a late shot clock possession? Why were they rushing late in what happened before that sequence?
We were dribbling it. We used about 16 to 17 to 18 seconds just out front on the logo. Jacoby just kind of slowing the pace down, trying to take Virginia out of their yeah. I get how we ended up starting we started our set like with about 15 to go on the shot clock. So that was the real.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I mean, I'm with you overall. Like I said earlier, Rusty, I'd like to see Tennessee have a forward like Felix that can step into that shot and knock it down with confidence. I would like to see that in Tennessee's offense. There's no disagreement there. I just don't think in that particular moment Felix is the answer. That's just not Felix's game. I mean, he has nice touch for the forward that he is, but he's just not a shooter.
And thanks for the phone call, Rusty. Like, that's an off-season thing. That's you building the confidence and the consistency of making however many shots Rick wants his guys to make to be able to take those in the game in the regular season. Like, everybody was working on being a more consistent shooter. Ben, you reported, oh, man, K. Phillips and Felix and JP, all the bigs were working on being more versatile in shooting that shot. Well, they're not shooting in the games because they didn't do enough to prove that they can be trusted to take those shots. I understand JP stepping out at the top of the key and shooting that shot because he has a nice stroke, he can make it. But we're not just letting Felix shoot those shots just because he's wide open. And I think, Rusty, you kind of made the point for us. You said even if he airballs it, huh? What? That shouldn't even be an option. We're already offensive rebounding 45+% of our shots anyways. Like, the solution is not to say, hey, Felix, bad three-point shooter, let's just shoot it. The option is, let's run better offense sooner in the shot clock in that possession. Let's get a better shot. The solution in hindsight is not to let Felix jack up a top of the key shot that's a low percentage shot based on this season. The shots that he made from top of the key was when we were playing rinky-dink teams. And guys took those shots to see if they can be counted on to make them for the rest of the season. But it's the reason why we don't see Felix shoot those shots in SEC play, and it's the reason why he hasn't made them. Ron Slay, 2 weeks ago, when we talked about what Tennessee needs to do to make a run in the SEC tournament, Ron was like, listen, man, when we have those two bigs in there and one flash to the free throw line, I just hope we at least take the shot. We ain't even taking it. Ron wanted to see us take it. So if we're not even taking that shot at the elbow at the free throw line, why should we take three-pointers at the top of the key? It's a low percentage shot. That is an off-season thing for Rick Barnes to address. Go find yourself an Igor Milicic, who's at the game, by the way, looking good. Find you that guy. But you can't turn Felix into Igor mid-season.
No. Well, and I think two things before we move on. I think that's where you really miss Cade Phillips. They thought, like you brought up, that was kind of the talk during the summer is like, hey, these forwards are taking more shots. It seems like they're going to be able to take more shots in the game. I think Cade Phillips was going to be a big reason why. Yeah. They are a believer in Cade Phillips from shooting from the perimeter. Not that he's going to turn into Chris Lofton or anything like that all of a sudden, or be one of the best in the country at it, but they thought he was going to be a really respectable perimeter shooter, and they haven't had Cade, obviously, all season long. So I think that's where they're missing that aspect of the game the most. That's where they have missed Cade the most on top of his defensive ability, his Jemai Mashak-esque ability for a forward. So maybe that comes back next season with Cade likely coming back and off the shoulder injury. And I only say likely just because you never know in today's day and age of college athletics. But and then the other thing, and I do think this was also a little bit of Rusty's point, and I certainly don't blame him on this aspect, is like, would you rather have Felix late in the shot clock take that open three, or Bishop or Jacoby or Nate fire up a Hail Mary?
I would rather us run better offense and get a better shot early in the shot clock.
But in that instance, because it's late and you're up by 2, you're not going to run offense early in the shot clock. I mean, there's two and a half minutes left.
If I had to pick one or the other, in hindsight, because it's always easy to talk about what you want to do, what you should have done after the fact. But yeah, I mean, let Felix shoot it at that point. But
because I don't think he would actually airball it, and Rusty was not saying that he thinks that Felix would airball it either, but like, it would not at all be surprising, I don't think, if Felix stepped into that shot and made it.
Well, the reason why he didn't shoot it is because
I think it's a better option than a Hail Mary or a grenade being thrown up. Well, maybe Jacoby's the only one I'm okay with a grenade being thrown up.
Well, the reason why he didn't shoot it is because the 100 times or maybe even thousands of times this season they've been put in that situation, they were able to get a good shot in that amount of time. Just that time against Virginia, they were not able to. So
Yeah,
I'm
and
pretty sure
he's not. I don't think he's scared to step into it. I just think he knows that that's not a shot that Rick Barnes wants, and there's a difference between being scared to shoot it and knowing what your coach wants in that moment.
yeah, like I'm pretty sure they go pull all the clips of Felix with the ball with less than 5 seconds at the top of the key. They can go find where they still were able to get a pretty good shot.
And that was with 9 seconds. That's an eternity to get a shot.
Yeah, so
I still would have liked to. You got Chance Mallory and his little Oompa Loompa body on Nate Ament at his hip. Like, give it to Nate. And, like, if they double, that's fine. Hopefully Nate makes a good pass out of it and you have an open look at the buzzer, or Nate's able to draw another foul, which he was doing a bunch of there in the second half. But I do agree with the overall philosophy, as I've said for the three or four times now. Like, this offseason, that's something I want to see Tennessee get back to trying to find an Igor Milicic type that can stretch the floor, and they may already have that on their roster. I think JP and Cade, with a strong offseason, a strong shooting offseason, could develop into that. I know JP's body is different than Cade and Igor's. JP is more of a 5 than a 4, in my opinion. New age, at least, new age basketball. But like Cade and JP, I think can be capable shooters for you kind of at that position in this roster. And I hope that's something that they really genuinely explore this offseason with the intention of allowing them to do so next year.
yeah. All right, let's keep it moving. Let's go to the Beatty Chevrolet text box. BeattyChevrolet.com is a website. Rodney says, "Thank you, Carlton White," talking about the Virginia player with his air ball late in the game. I mean, it looked just like Carlton Banks, man.
He actually looked just like Josh Dobbs. But
Yeah, he did for sure. And hey, Dobbs, I think, commented on a tweet that mentioned him. So, yeah, Camden Tennessee Vol says those dudes posting a fan page of him going 16th overall as evidence. Okay, I'm reading the text. I don't know who Camden Tennessee Vol is referring to. I don't know. All I know is, and this could be someone that I work with. It could be someone I don't work with. The thought of him coming back is stupid, regardless of who said it, okay? It's a stupid comment. Nate Ament should go to the NBA draft. He's projected as a lottery pick. Again, it could be my coworker. It cannot. It could be Ben McKee. It's a stupid take.
I promise you it was not me.
It's a stupid take.
I saw one tweet about it yesterday, but I don't think it was anybody that you know. Well, you know this person, but you don't interact with them.
ATF Vol says he's clearly not an NBA scout, but he doesn't have much closing to me. I know he has the ankle issue, but seems like he has trouble getting his shots off against bigger guys. Well, here's the thing. There's not a lot of guys who are 6'10" that's going to be playing on the perimeter, even in the NBA. So he may go up against Kevin Durant. He may go up against guys when they switch off. But this is his first year playing on the perimeter. He's going to grow. He's going to develop. He's going to get better. And while he's doing that, he's going to get paid more than he's getting paid at Tennessee. And you don't have to be super explosive to be a good basketball player. That's the one thing that's lovely about basketball is the athleticism. That's great, right? The Kobe's, the Jordans, the Anthony Edwards. But how many guys have entered the league with great athleticism but didn't have the skill to match it and didn't become the player that they could have been? Nate has opportunity to improve his athleticism, but the skill is what keeps you in the league. Your ability to shoot the basketball, your ability to handle the ball, your IQ. Tobias Harris is not super athletic, explosive, but he's super skilled and he's smart. And when you're skilled and you're smart, you can play in this league for a long time.
Yes. I don't know that Nate will ever develop into a franchise player. I don't know that I see that. I would not necessarily be surprised if it happens, but I don't know that I would predict that. What I would predict at minimum as of today is that he's going to play double-digit years in the NBA as he'll I could see him being a starter for a decade in the league like Tobias Harris has been. And if not, he'll stick around and be the sixth, seventh guy in a rotation, first or second guy off the bench for a decade plus as well. And that's a perfectly good career. That's a really good career. And to the point of the explosiveness, Sam Vecini, that paragraph that I read earlier, described it in a little bit different way, but Nate's finishing at the rim early in SEC play, he was kind of shying away from contact. So how can he continue to add strength to where he begins to finish better at the rim will certainly be key for him. But I wouldn't, my point is I wouldn't describe his inconsistencies at finishing around the rim as a lack of explosiveness. I think he's pretty athletic. I mean, he's not the freakiest of athletes, right? Like, he's not going to dunk on everybody in the paint, but I think he's plenty explosive and plenty athletic enough to where he can finish at a more consistent rate at the rim than he does. And I think it's just a product of him needing to add more strength. And I think once he adds more strength, I think you'll see him not shy away and I don't think he's really shied away from contact when he drives and tries to finish around the rim here these last several weeks. But that was something he was doing early in SEC play. I don't think he's doing it as much anymore because he's gained more confidence.
865-255-03, Mississippi Fall with a good morning. Good morning to you, Chip Payne.
Good morning.
Well, we see what you're saying there, Chip Payne. Yeah, we spent too much time talking about Felix apart shooting threes, that's for sure. We love Rusty. We appreciate Rusty. But Felix don't need to be shooting threes.
I will say, you were talking about Felix's impact earlier in the show. How much do you think Felix has proven he can play in the NBA this season and here of late? I think he's really – I think he can absolutely play – defensively in the NBA because of his athleticism, his ability to switch on the perimeter. And if you can do that and just be a lob threat and grab offensive rebounds on the other end, there's a place for you in the NBA. He certainly earned himself an opportunity at minimum.
Yeah, I'm with you. The player that comes to mind is Nick Claxton. He can be Nick Claxton. A lob threat, and this is the player out of Georgia. Right now, Nick Claxton is making $25 million for the Brooklyn Nets. But I see Nick Claxton and Felix Ekpar. He was a second-round pick in the 2019 draft. He's averaging right now 12 points per game, 7 rebounds, 3.8 assists. He doesn't shoot threes. Like, he's a lob threat. He plays defense. He's versatile. He can switch. Like, that's Felix Ekpar for me. Like, to a T. That's what I see in him. 100%.
It's a great comparison. That might be the best comparison you've ever made to somebody.
Really?
And I think so. Because nobody knows who Nick Claxton is. And the fact that you're able to dig down deep and pull out that name to compare him to Felix when their games are very similar, great job by you. You need to go ahead and just close shop for the week. You're not going to have a better take the rest of the week, the rest of the month, maybe the rest of the year. So you just need to go ahead and close down shop and stay ahead while you are ahead. And he was the 31st pick in the second round of the 2019 NBA draft. I believe that's the second to last pick of the draft. So Felix is, I would guess, not going to be drafted, but he'll earn an invite with somebody to Summer League, and he has an opportunity to prove that he can have a Nick Claxton type of impact. I absolutely see that.
You like that? All right.
Felix is capable of being on an NBA bench. He won't be a starter. He won't be the first guy off the bench, but he can end up being a guy that can be one of your key guys at the end of the bench.
All right. Another reaction from a 247 Sports reporter's video on social media. That was David Sanders Jr.
We're out to get the balls.
The one thing I take away from the video is, and again, it's no one's fault. Like, it's not Ben McKee's fault. It's not Patrick Brown's fault. It's no one's fault for posting a video. You have open portion of practice. You're allowed to post video, so you post it. It ain't Patrick Brown's responsibility to make sure that the technique was great. It's not Ben McKee's responsibility to inform the folks that the dude's jogging half speed, Tristan Keys. From a technique standpoint, you saw a bunch of current NFL players and former NFL players, not just NFL players, but like linemen. And so, like, they're critiquing the rep. And if you want to critique it, I guess you can. For me, that wasn't the first thing that came to mind when I saw his rep. The first thing I thought of was, here you are at the beginning of spring football practice. You just put on pads. It's about setting the tone of physicality and intensity the first day of pads, or the beginning of having pads on. And it took me back to all 4 years at Tennessee when we put on pads the first time. And you could bet the drill that we were going to run the first day of pads was Oklahoma drill, where DBs was versus receivers, tight ends was versus linebackers, running backs was versus linebackers, O-line versus D-line, and the quarterback would hand the ball off to the running back, and it was about 5 yards wide, and there was pads in sections, and it was about 4 or 5 lanes, and each lane was reserved for those matchups. And I remember, in that drill, it ain't about technique. It's about man versus man, will versus will, and who can move who, and who's going to give up and who's not. And David Sanders Jr.'s rep reminded me of that, even though it was an Oklahoma drill. But the aggression, the intensity, the physicality, him finishing the rep, it was violent. That's the biggest thing I took from it. It's like, oh, okay, yeah, there we go, man. He set the tone for physicality. I like it. We can work on the technique stuff later. I mean, David Sanders had pretty good technique as a true freshman, which is why he's a 5-star, last year. He's going to be even better this year. That rep was about setting the tone and being more of a leader, which they need him to be, with the money he's making, the title that he has. Like, that was him setting the tone for the offensive line room, which I loved. But you can't discredit a former Super Bowl champion and former NFL offensive lineman looking at that rep and going, well, it could have been better here. Technique-wise, it's not great. I don't know why we're glorifying it, the rep. Well, that's because, you look at it in a different way.
He doesn't understand the context of what Tennessee football is and needs right now.
Yeah. So if you're Tennessee, you got to make a decision. You can't have your players getting attacked.
And this is we'll add, as I'm sure you probably talked about with Josh, that this is a problem across the country, not just a Tennessee thing. And you may have mentioned this on our show last week, but the Auburn quarterback, was it Byram Brown, who transferred from USF with Alex Golesh? I mean, he went through the same thing because you had armchair quarterbacks on the internet critiquing his throwing motion after he threw for 3,000 yards last year. So this happens everywhere, unfortunately, everywhere at every level. I mean, even I see things, and spring training's at the forefront of my mind because spring training just wrapped up and has been going on for the last month and a half. But you see these professional baseball reporters tweet out videos of this player reporting, that player reporting, going through their first drills of the season, their first live BPs of the season, facing pitchers outside of a game, and the reporters get to go and watch, and they film it and post. And it's something. If there's a negative aspect with how the player looks physically, or the hitter strikes out, or the pitcher's not throwing strikes, like, it's just, the comments are just full of negativity. So it's not. I think that is important to remember here as well, is that it's not a Tennessee issue. It's an issue all throughout sports because of what social media is.
Yeah. Like, Tennessee's gonna have to make a decision, and whatever the decision they make moving forward is going to be the right decision.
Well, and honestly, I think the best thing would be to not allow us to shoot video, and I say that because they don't show us anything anyways. So really, because they show us so little, I think they are actually hurting themselves because we get to see so little. The little that gets put out gets overreacted to.
Yeah, well, here's what I add to that too. Other schools, they'll put the VO out for you, so they'll all do the VO.
Alabama does that.
Tennessee handles it. They did this on the Pruitt, and then they'll send y'all the VO that they want out, and then y'all can use it. The problem is everybody uses the same VO and the same point of view. But here's the problem. And again, I want to emphasize it's no fault of yours or Patrick Brown. If I was filming Tristan Keys, I would know that he was going 50%, and you knew that too. But the schools are more sensitive to the reaction of the post, so they're probably going to spend more time prefacing what they post and saying, hey, here's our guy going half speed, 50% here, or maybe not even post that. They'll post him going full speed and posting a good throw and a good catch to make sure that you're protecting your guys from the idiot mob. Again, Patrick Brown posted that clip. All right, it wasn't great technique, but it was a great post. It was a great video. It showed David Sanders, unlike we saw him any point last year, because he dealt with injury. He was a freshman. He didn't have that type of intensity that we saw like that from him, in practice like that. So, both posts, for me, I enjoyed it. I liked it. When your school can handle it, when the school can post it, they can present it a little bit better than the media can present it. And again, it's no fault of the media, but they just can present it better. And again, to avoid issues, because it's not about being soft and it's about avoiding issues and potential traps while you can. It goes back to the conversation we were having, about Kim Caldwell, right? About avoiding issues that you can avoid. Because what you're dealing with tampering from other schools at an all-time high. So any little thing that happens, you're going to have someone in your ear going, hey, man, hey. Look how they doing you. Look how the fans doing you. Look, we wouldn't do you like that. Hey, you open? All it takes that one time where a player may be a little frustrated because whatever reason, and he listens and opens up the door. And then who knows what happens. You want to keep that door closed as much as you can. Remember, you're recruiting your players every single year. So stuff like this, man, you got to be sensitive to it. You just have to. Soft or not, you just have to. It is what it is.
You do. I don't think that the school sending out the video completely eliminates the issue, that they can potentially present it better. Would Tennessee send out explanations of what they're doing in this particular drill, or would they just not send it out at all? I don't know. I just remember when The main school that I've seen send out their own video through their media is Alabama, and they send out 4 or 5 minute B-roll. And I remember last year when they were struggling pretty bad. I mean, even it was the most basic practice video that could be sent out, and the fans were still nitpicking it and critiquing it and criticizing. So, like, I still don't think that totally eliminates the issue. It certainly maybe helps you control the issue.
Yeah.
But, like, again, the issue is the idiotic fans in the fan base. And every fan base, collegiately, professionally, there's idiots in all of them. And it's those idiots that ruin it for everybody. And you're just not the only way to avoid those people taking it too far is just not sending out any video at all. And I think I know I'm saying this as somebody in the media, so it's a little weird, especially when it's pretty good content for us, especially at the beginning of spring, the beginning of fall practice. But they don't show us anything in practice anyway. We don't learn anything from the video that we put out. We don't learn anything from what we get to see in practice. The only thing we learn is who is here, who's there. It's roll call for us. Who's banged up, who's available, who's changed jersey numbers, who's maybe working at a different position today. But we get to see practice 4 weeks, 5 weeks total out of the year. And when we get to see practice, it's 5 minutes of it. So we don't learn anything. And because they show so little, there's always such an overreaction to the little bit that we see that I think just eliminating video altogether would probably be the best move. And that may be weird from a media member saying that, but I don't, the videos, because social media is so lame and is what it is, it does nothing but hurt you.
Yeah, 100%. 865-255-03. We'll go back to the Beatty Chevrolet text box, BeattyChevrolet.com. Swain Event, fueled by Dead End Barbecue. Want to start testosterone therapy? Don't settle for one-size-fits-all doses from your doctor or pay hundreds out of pocket at a TRT franchise. At Low T Center, you can get insurance-covered TRT customized to your body for maximum effectiveness and safety. Low T Center has served over 500,000 patients since 2009 and continues to lead the industry in TRT. This month, enjoy a free men's T-test and discounted peptides while supplies last. Head to lowtcenter.com and sign up for your free T-test today. That's lowtcenter.com. When you are craving some quality barbecue, there's only one place to go. Dead End Barbecue. Dead End Barbecue has been featured on ESPN's Taste of the Town, the first barbecue restaurant on the SEC Network, CBS Sports, Headline News Tailgate Show, Amazon Prime's The Restaurant Comeback, Food Paradise, and named one of the top 100 barbecue restaurants in America. The search is over. Dead End Barbecue is located on 3621 Sutherland Avenue right here in Knoxville. You can even have it delivered right to your door through Chow Now. Visit their website at deadendbbq.com. Dead End Barbecue. The search is over.
Out-of-town law firms have been swarming into East Tennessee lately. From Memphis, Chattanooga, and Birmingham, they've stormed into the area. Wouldn't you rather do business with a local firm? You know, a true neighbor, Marcos Garza. The pros at the Garza Law Firm are just that. There are neighbors and friends that support local causes year-round. The Garza Law Firm works to serve you professionally on criminal matters, injuries and accident matters, and Social Security and disability filings. The Garza Law Firm is here for you at garzalaw.com. The Garza Law Firm. Let us help.
Just because you can't call in doesn't mean that you have to sit on the sideline. Impact the show with a text box. It's part of the free Swain Event app.
What's up, Swain Event crew? Jennifer Morris here with Keller Williams Realty. Fall sports can be a roller coaster ride for us fans. The excitement, drama, and passion will make us crazy sometimes. I can't manage the games, but I can help you manage your real estate needs while you're cheering on the Vols. Reach out at 865-694-5904 or contact me at nextmovesmokymountains.com. That's nextmovesmokymountains.com, and go Vols.
Swain Event and SwainEvent.com, fueled by Dead End Barbecue. Ben McKee, Go Vols 247. Man, it was cool to see Ben on TV covering front row. What goes into getting that front row seat, man? First come, first serve?
No, they are assigned seats.
Ooh, they must have knew who was coming into town.
Well, the SID is a big help there. Alex Schwartz is Tennessee basketball's SID, a.k.a. the Sports Information Director, and the NCAA asks each team's SID, like, hey, who are the
top guys,
X amount of people that need to have a seat down here. It's usually like 4 or 5, maybe a little bit more, depending on how much room is available and how much national media is there, because they always take care of the national media first. But the main beat writers of each team,
top guys,
get to sit down there.
Just go ahead and say it, Ben. Top guys.
Far from it. Hey, don't. You can't say anything like that. You say anything like that, you're going to irritate people. I'm just little old Ben McKee at little old Go Vols 24/7. I know there's only one place you can get stories, so we're just trying to keep our head above water over here.
Hey, man. Hey, you sit on the front row for a reason, my man.
How much did you enjoy the rest of the SEC and their tournament experience over the weekend?
Well, I loved the Iowa game. I thought it was great. I loved the Nebraska game. I thought it was fabulous and fantastic. And I really enjoyed the Iowa State game. Yeah, I thought those 3 games were great. The Texas Tech game could have been better, but to see Vanderbilt go home and Florida go home and Kentucky go home, I thought that was great. And that's why, folks, you got to reserve your criticism to a certain extent until the season's over, because we lost to Kentucky twice. We lost to Kentucky 4 times in the last 5 tries, but the one time was in the postseason, and we've had better runs than them. We lost to Alabama. We split. We lost to Vanderbilt 2 out of 3 times. Those teams have had better regular seasons than us. But this is a tournament sport where the outlook of your season depends on how you finish. And Tennessee's still playing. And Florida, who won the national championship last year, was the number 1 seed, who had a better year than us. They're not playing anymore. We're going to go further than them. And so I think some of the criticism during the season has been valid. But some folks, man, y'all, I'm not saying y'all because I know there ain't people listening. But some folks out here, oh, it's time. Man, it's time. It's time for what? I know you ain't talking about Rick Barnes. I know that ain't who you're talking about. It's time for what? It's time to play better, but it ain't time to look at doing anything with Rick Barnes. But that's what some folks like to say during the regular season, and they sound ridiculous, man. They really do.
Whether it's fair or not, we talk about this all the time, Swain. Every basketball season, we talk about this and mention this numerous times. Whether it's fair or unfair, the narrative on your season, the narrative of your program comes down to what you do during the first weekend of the NCAA tournament and beyond. It's really set the first weekend of the tournament, and then you can really cement it if you're able to do something big the second weekend. Because now all of a sudden, Mark Pope was a game away from the Sweet 16. That would change the narrative of his season. But now what are folks talking about? How much pressure he's going to be under going into next year. And now, Tennessee basketball fans, a few of them, always overreact. And to some, making the Sweet 16 for the 4th straight year is still not good enough, which is baffling to me. Is it okay to want a Final Four and expect a Final Four? Yes. But don't steal your own joy and happiness and not appreciate 4 straight Sweet 16 appearances and potentially a 3rd straight Elite 8 appearance. Like I think you're robbing yourself of joy and happiness if you're not allowing yourself to appreciate that. While you can also still want a Final Four and expect a Final Four. You can do both things at the same time. It's okay. Just because they don't make the Final Four doesn't mean that Rick Barnes is an awful coach or that the basketball program doesn't meet expectations. Last I checked, it's really hard to make the Final Four. It's really hard, last I checked. Mark Few never won a national championship. He a bad coach? What about Kelvin Sampson? Never won a national championship.
Mark Few played for one.
He did. Kelvin Sampson also played for one.
Yeah.
But they didn't win it all.
They didn't win it all.
Make them a bad coach?
No.
What about Eddie Sutton?
No. Rick's one of the best ever, man. So, but yeah, it's tournament sport, and here we are, man. We are in a position that only 15 other teams in the country can say that they're at. And so
the Alabama situation is pretty funny because you want Alabama to beat Michigan. If you knew whether Tennessee was going to beat Iowa State or not, you want to play Alabama over Michigan. You don't want to play Michigan. You don't want to play Michigan.
No, you don't.
You want to play Alabama. Alabama is a much better matchup for Tennessee, and it's a matchup that it has experience with and has owned Nate Oates in the last 3 years or so. I know it's weird. Now, obviously, if you knew Tennessee was going to lose to Iowa State, you want Alabama to lose to Michigan, of course. But it's hard because Alabama plays before Tennessee. But if Tennessee wins against Iowa State, you want to play Alabama over Michigan in the Elite Eight. I know that sets up for a potential really sour taste in your mouth if you lose to Alabama with a trip to the Final Four on the line. Boy, would that suck. But I personally think your chances of beating Michigan are slim to none. And if you play Alabama, my expectation is that you should beat Alabama to go to the Final Four. I think there's a big difference there in terms of probability of making the Final Four based on who you play.
I hate the fact that you're right. I like our matchup against Alabama more than I like it against Michigan. Even though we did, punk Mara when he was with UCLA, the big tall dude from Michigan.
Who's punking Yaxel?
Nobody.
So that's weird. Now, if Tennessee loses to Iowa State, you hope Michigan beats the brakes off of Alabama, but there's just no way of knowing because they play the first game. What do you think about Tennessee's matchup with Iowa State? I think it's one I feel good about for Tennessee. They do not rebound the ball all that well, and it looks like their star player, who is a forward, is going to be out, or at least if he does play, he's going to be very, very limited. I mean, he was on a scooter on Sunday. How is somebody on a scooter going to play on Friday night? That would be pretty shocking. But even if he does play, I would imagine he's very limited, like we've seen with Nate Ament the last couple of weeks, but even maybe more so than that. So you kind of look at what Iowa State struggles with, and I think it fits Tennessee's strengths, and you take their best player out, and I do, entering the week, have an expectation that Tennessee should beat Iowa State on Friday night.
I don't have an expectation that Tennessee should beat Iowa State. Iowa State, according to Ken Palm, is the 7th best team in the country. They are a better version of Tennessee. Defensively, they're top 5. Offensively, they're top 20. They got the best three-point shooter in the country. You can't mess around with this dude. I don't even know how to pronounce his name right now. I've heard it so much. I've watched so many Iowa State games. Mono Dasi, I don't even want to pronounce it. But the dude is shooting 50% from three. And it dropped. Like, it really was over 50%. He's shooting 49.3 right now. But it is March, y'all. And he ain't some guy that, he's shooting 60% from three like Felix, who only shot 5 3-pointers. Nah, man, this dude's a starter. He's putting up threes, man. He shot 272 threes on the year. And he's shooting 49%. He's the second best shooter in the country according to percentage. You don't play around with him. Torrey is a problem. Lipsy, the local kid, I want to say, They're good, man. They're really good. I think they're a better version of us during the regular season. That doesn't mean we can't beat them and we can't be the better version on Friday. I think we are underdog for a reason, as we should be. And I think it's going to be a freaking battle. Who can stay out of foul trouble and who can stay off the bench and prevent getting, themselves fouled out? Because it's going to be a war. It's going to be a war.
It's not at all going to be easy, but when we had that conversation that we had last week about the resources that are being committed to the program, and you are the program that a lot of people believe that you are, just got to win.
You got to get this one done, man. You're capable, but they're good. And hopefully Joshua Jefferson does not play. He's their best player and the NBA dude. So hard to expect for him to play and be productive. That basketball court is not forgiving. So the fact that Ament is even playing is remarkable with a high ankle sprain. It's not like grass. With grass, it gives a little bit. The hardwood does not give. So I don't know how he's going to be able to play. Nate got hurt a long time ago and is dealing with it. This guy just got hurt. So I don't know if he's going to have enough time to recover at all, my man.
Jennifer Morris never has to recover because she's always on her A game. If you're looking for a great home whose owner has gone Hollywood, give her a call. The owner is moving into his Hollywood Hills house quickly and wants a quick sell. She is ripping and running on the market right now. Jennifer Morris is. So for all of your real estate needs, please reach out to Jennifer Morris of Keller Williams Realty.
I love it. I love it. I love it. Ben McKee, GoVols 247. The critters are starting to come out because the weather is changing. So if you have issues with wildlife, you call Alpha Wildlife. AlphaWildlife.com is the website. For Ben McKee, I'm Jason Swain. Hope everyone has a great rest of your day and week. We'll do it again on Thursday. More breakdown of the Iowa State-Tennessee matchup, Tennessee football as well. Peace and much love. We are out. Swain Event, fueled by Dead End Barbecue.